Quiet, please.
You are listening to, actually not just listening, watching the DIY show. This is our December end of the year episode, and we really do not have a subject today other than we're going to try to cover a few things from the last year. There has been some serious changes in home servers and other great subjects, one of which is that the past month or so I finally got off my butt and hacked my own server. I had a little HP home server that ran Windows Home Server, and Windows Home Server is a discontinued product. So I decided I wanted to put Ubuntu on it. Well, these devices are headless. There is no place to plug in a video, monitor, keyboard, mouse. Although there is USB ports. I went through a few steps in there how to get there, and we have with us, of course, Anthony Zotti.
Hello, folks. Glad to be here.
And we have one of our favorite guests back, Vivek.
How you doing?
Doing great. Well, I guess let's get started. Tony, let's start with you. What have you had time to mess around with this year? What projects did you start and did you not finish, or wish that you would have gotten further?
Well, there's been a number of them. As you know, Tim, we did a show recently on ham radio, and so I have recently started studying to get my license. I'm making that one of my winter projects this year, is to try and get my ham license. So that's something that I've started but not yet completed, so I'm hoping to get that done by spring at the latest. And then I was hoping that I'm very pleased, I should say, to have Vivek back with us, because I thought our home server show we did some months back was really super cool. Very engaging, and I thought one of the things that we might be able to talk about is just knowing us three nerds. I knew that there were changes in our own home server rigs, and so I've recently kind of rebuilt my own infrastructure at home, and there's some of it's the same, some of it's different. I actually have lost some Linux in my house, which is weird, but I thought we could rap about that a little bit as we wrap up the year, and yeah, that's what I got for now.
Sounds great. I've, of course, worked on my home server. I'm actually moving forward a little bit with the Raspberry Pi. I finally got my hands on one of the Adafruit touchscreen LCDs. This actually is going to be kind of a home server. This project for next year is going to become a IP camera recorder. So. Recording not onto the SD card, but actually onto a USB hard drive. But that's a whole other project that I'm going to try to cover later next year.
Cool.
Vivek, what have you changed in your home server? What have you seen change in the year since we've last talked? And I think he froze.
You talking to me there?
Yes,
Yeah.
There you are. Okay.
All right.
Look at your video.
All right. I just adjusted downward, so hopefully this will. Am I coming through clear?
Clear-ish.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try this again. For me, Anthony really won't be surprised that my goal for this year was make everything bigger, make it more. So I had, what did I have? Well, first of all, Comcast gave me this screaming deal on a bundle DVR and internet. Shockingly, it was only $5 a month more to get a full TV package beyond the internet service they were offering. I'm sorry, if you could take into account the cost of Netflix, it's actually reattach the cord, and then the approach I decided to use is everything to record. So what that required is a whole lot more disk space. Matter of fact, far more than I had anticipated. I went from a, oh God, what was it, like a 5 terabyte array at the time. It was a bunch of 1 terabyte. I went up to a 16 terabyte array.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost used up. So I'm going to need more space. And I did hear about the 6 and 8 terabyte drives coming, so I may have to do that in the next 6 months. It is not really that big deal. The interesting thing is 2 weeks ago I did get a Moto 360 where I'd had a Pebble for a while. So now I'm starting to I have a Nexus. How I can integrate the Android Wear presence section into the system. Because who wants to, yes, I had the ability to use my phone to integrate all this stuff, but now I'm wondering, is there something I can do? The speech recognition on the Moto 360 is pretty good. So I haven't quite figured out how to use it yet, but that to me is a lot of my changes are going to be, I suspect, over the next 6 months, playing around a lot more with voice recognition, because it is pretty easy to just, I guess I should have brought it with me, but am I still there?
It's ironic,
You guys
isn't
hear
it?
me?
Yeah, you're breaking up big time. I find it ironic that Comcast gave you a screaming deal and upped your bandwidth, and yet your kids are using it all tonight.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That might be what it is. From the router, right? This is my kids' room, so it's the only place that I'm allowed to sit right now. Yeah. So for me, God.
No, go ahead.
My image is totally frozen. Can you hear me at least?
Yes.
Yeah, but we're having some drops there.
Oh.
Yeah, we're definitely having some drops.
What I'm going to be looking at over the next 6 months is recognition. Really, I think with Android.
I'm sorry. I'm just finding so much irony in this. We're talking about bandwidth and voice recognition, and we're losing you big time.
Oh, I'm going to try going somewhere else.
Okay, while you're doing that,
so somebody else talk.
One thing that you're talking about voice recognition for your home automation in your system. One thing you may be interested in that I've ran into before is that, these devices right here you can get really cheap. It's a ZAP 800 DSP that you could put microphones in every single room back into that. That will do. You can use the echo cancellation in these DSPs to eliminate audio from the home automation system, or even audio from your music sources in the rooms, to give you a clear audio signal for your voice recognition. But also, you can get out of that serial string what microphone is currently active. So if let's say you put 6 microphones throughout your home in 6 different rooms, if they go all back to this, it can tell you that the microphone in the kitchen is currently active, so therefore your home automation system can identify what room you're speaking from.
That's super cool.
These devices are dirt cheap used on the on eBay. That Clear One processor was about 5 years ago was $3,000. Now that one I purchased for $20.
Wow.
So
how many channels is that, Tim?
8 in, 8 out on that one. So you can have a full 8 audio channels. The first, I believe, 4 are audio DSP types specifically for. No, wait, all 8 are. I'm sorry. This one here has 8 microphone inputs, 4 line inputs, and then 8 outs. The lesser one has only 8 and 8. But this right here would really give him, and these things are trivial to program. In fact, Vivek, if you want the software to play around with that, I can send that to you. But it's freely available on Clear One's website. In fact, I believe where I first heard about doing that was actually on the Mr. House forums. Someone a long time ago who had a whole lot of money who could buy these things new was doing it then.
What's the part number on that Clear One piece?
Oh, you can make me look. That right there is an XAP 800. They are horribly, horribly out of date. But for what I'm doing here and what anybody else would do at their home, this is high tech for little money. Who cares that it's out of date?
I got one sitting here on Amazon for $12.74. Yeah,
There you go.
I'd call that affordable.
And this thing has a ton of features that someone can use in their home if they're looking to do home automation and home servers that are going to have that voice recognition. Plus the filtering, the amount of noise filtering. That thing can bring down that rumble in the house from the HVAC system. So, hey,
I wonder if I'm back here.
You are indeed.
Yes.
I see no picture. Do you guys see me?
We see just like sort of your avatar. We don't get your camera now.
All right. I guess that's probably good. So what I have, it's the shift I think I'm going to make, and it is that we actually killed our landline, and everybody's always got some kind of cell phone on them.
Yep.
So between that, the Moto 360, as I was saying, I don't know that I need generic fixed location microphones anymore. I do wonder that, between the presence sensing, which room am I in, and then just speaking into the wrist, Get Smart style. That might actually work it for me.
Yeah. So, are you going to have to delve it all into the Android API, or are you just using regular off-the-shelf tools then?
Yeah, everything I do, I'm sticking with the no coding concept. By definition of coding is, real coding, right? So what I do is simply put I have Tasker, which is about as much quote unquote coding as I'm going to do. So I have Tasker on the Android, and that'll call a web URL. So what I'll do is, between Tasker and then Auto Voice, which with Lollipop you can use Auto Voice as the default for the Google voice search. That'll detect. The problem is I do have to use fixed construct, right? It's not natural language processing, so I do have to remember, do I have a three-phrase command, right? Like lights bedroom on, lights bedroom off, right?
Yeah.
Or something to that effect. But that's not the end of the world if I can just keep it to a fixed construct like that. Like it's always three phrases. 3 words for any command. Then I can stick with just task, Auto Voice, trapping that, sending it to Tasker. Tasker will call a CQC web URL. And then the nice thing about that is, so really the only thing that Tasker and Auto Voice do is detect the command and send a token. And then all the coding itself is actually in CQC. And I pause because CQC is not really coding either, right? It is really, it's just... it's a bunch of if-thens. It's if this token happens, then turn this light on, then turn this light off, right? So I still wouldn't call that coding per se. It's more pseudocode. So the nice thing then is I have centralized commands. I don't have a few commands here, a few commands there, so I can centralize all the programming. And then however I call it is however I call it. So that way I can call it with my voice. I can call it via NFC detection, Wi-Fi near, whatever it is.
That's cool. That's like.
So what happens if you stub your toe when?
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting, right?
Sorry.
What I have noticed with Lollipop is that I have it trained. So I trained it with my voice because you can do that. That says train it to your voice for OK Google. However, just today. Oh my God, there it is. It just clicked off. Hold on. No. Stop. Yep.
Yeah, but I can imagine, stubbing your toe on something and cursing, and then all the lights in the house go off.
Yeah.
Just something weird happening,
Oh, yeah.
You actually got a program to do that. Set up a bunch of things, just normal, seemingly everyday phrases, so you can kind of, mess with people. Because that'd be fun.
Oh, kind of like a haunted house a mode, if you really wanted to for entertainment. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I could turn
or
my
for
house
when somebody,
I'm sorry.
No, Jehovah's Witnesses. No, when Jehovah's Witnesses show up.
I could turn my house into a strobe light if I had it trigger on the F word.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect right there.
Well, hello, John. That's a good time to welcome you in. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Anthony. Are you guys actually on air already, or are you just doing pre-show?
Nope, we're already on the air.
Why do I not hear anything all of a sudden? I broke the internet!
So, John, what we started with, yes, we started a little bit early because Vivek has actually an epic game to play here in, about an hour? No, 40 minutes. And because he's actually the only one of us that's actually active, we decided to move the show time. We're talking about the home servers. Vivek has this incredible home automation system, and you were talking about using the Android with that. Now, are you talking using Android Gear watches to make it easier for you to always have that listening right there on your wrist?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still learning how to use it. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Because obviously now it's my machine issue. I can see my camera doesn't want to turn off and then turn on. So you have my lovely avatar from now on, which means I'm really making faces and getting naked, changing for soccer right now, as far as you know. Yeah. So it's I will say this, coming from the Pebble, the Android Moto 360, Android Wear, much more powerful. However, it's not quite plug and play. I'm sorry, if I was just to use the regular stock software, it'd be simple, but I don't want to do that. I want to use Tasker to kick things off. So I don't want to have my phone just tell me things to do. I want to use my phone to I want to use my watch to tell my phone what to do. Or have my phone have my watch tell my phone, tell CQC what to do. So using that is making things a little bit harder. But when I say harder, it means I actually got to think a little bit. Whereas with the Pebble, I didn't really have to think. So I suspect that once I figure out how this works, it'll be pretty cool.
Agreed. So that's like your New Year's resolution then.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. My wife said, "Oh, what? You got a new smartwatch?" And I'm like, "Yes, it was for New Year's."
Well, I'm hoping to learn more about that because I've got the Pebble. I love the Pebble. And you're one of the first people that I know that got an actual gear that are trying to push it to the limit. Yeah. And I'm really interested to find out how much you like and dislike about it because it's such a new platform. That are you going to now? With Tasker, can you leverage the sensors also in the watch?
That's the theory. Yes. And so what you have is access, in theory, to the... Well, and so this is exactly what... How about this? This stitching is what I got to figure out. Because, I'd be honest with you, I've only done very, very light, simple Tasker stuff. But you should be able to look at the sensors as well as the default Tasker stuff, right? So look at the sensors. Am I near my house? And use the photo sensor. Is it dark out, right? But we'll see. Ask me again in a few months. Right now, I can't figure out how to get the damn vibrate to work. So, photo sensor is a little bit beyond me.
To me though, the DIY thing here is I want to make a Star Trek communicator like that.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's
smartwatch and recase it.
Well, so I'm in this meeting today, right?
Really?
I work in corporate America, and I was telling these guys if I got to figure out how to make sure. God, I turn my phone around here, so when I say, okay, Google, right? God damn it, just kick off. I didn't have enough.
It wasn't me that swore first. Yay!
It wasn't. I didn't have enough of a lag time between okay and then that search word, right? So in the middle of the meeting, my phone wakes up, right? Because I'm wearing my Moto 360, right? And it says, "What do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Shut up, nothing. I'm in the meeting, right?" So it is. There are some things to screw around with. Obviously, with greater power comes greater flexibility, comes greater complexity. So. it'll be awesome, but there's bumps in the road.
Sure.
One of the paths I'm going to take is I'm really intrigued with this product called the SmartThings. Tony, you actually brought that up once, I believe in the past month online, that you thought that these SmartThings were an interesting product.
Absolutely.
That's more of a decentralized system, although the only thing I don't like about SmartThings is that they require the cloud.
Yep.
And I'm really hoping that their SDK gives me the ability to have my own server. So that's another one of the things that I'm going to go down this road. But, John, what are your thoughts?
You've rendered him speechless.
He's lagged. Although I did notice that you did finish your Festivus poll there, John.
I did indeed finish the Festivus poll. I will have you know that, most people do like a Christmas.
Oh man, are we ever
or whatever? It was just laying there, and I don't know if you can actually see it or not. It's not showing up on my screen that it's actually up, so I can't tell if it's actually on stream or not. But and then of course I did the contemporary Festivus poll. I actually wrapped it. I wasn't sure if it actually was on stream or not. I wrapped it and lit it, which is not normal. So,
John, do you have any kind of DIY or maker type New Year's resolutions? Are there things that you're looking forward to getting accomplished in the year to come?
Actually, yeah, but unfortunately, most of them I don't get to talk about. There's some pretty interesting big projects coming up that we're going to be doing and we'll be involved with all of them. So that'll be fun to watch.
You could have actually said it.
Working up on a big local.
Tonight's episode brought to you by Comcast.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not me, dude.
Oh wow.
Are we on North Korean internet? I mean, geez, I've been getting weird dropouts and stuff. You know what actually happened in North Korea, don't you?
What?
Their internet. Something basically happened. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, they got shut down." No, they didn't. Somebody stomped on the can, and somebody else tripped over the string, and they went offline.
Yeah. This old airplane.
All right. We've covered quite a bit. I'm really excited about some of the changes with the server, and I'm really looking forward to see what you're going to come up with, Vivek.
Agreed. Absolutely. We're going to definitely need to touch base and see how that goes with that project.
Yeah. Hopefully that's good news.
I'm looking for an excuse to pick up a Moto 360.
Dude, it's nice. Oh, here's the thing, though, right? So I got the metal band, and I guess it's a shame that my camera doesn't work. It is a closed loop. You cannot make it bigger. I got the large. It literally is the exact right fit for my wrist, which I will admit, here's the deal. I have a Nexus 6. I'm 6'2". It's still a one-handed device for me, just barely, but one-handed device. So I will admit that my hands are larger than most. My wrist is probably larger than most. But the metal band, first of all, people will look at this and ask me what kind of watch it is, not realizing it's a smartwatch. It's a nice-looking watch, but it was literally hair of the chinny chin chin that this band fits.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, at this point, I don't think I can go back to a square watch. After a year and a half with a Pebble, it looks like you got a computer on your wrist. The circle watches, I know we want functionality first, form second, but it is nice to have both.
Yeah.
Well, to cover some things coming from next year, Tony, you mentioned a few that you're going to continue down the road. John, you've mentioned yours. Vivek, we are just can't wait to talk about yours.
Absolutely.
I've got a few that I'm going to be chasing down, and they're a little on the extreme side. I remember we talked about at one time that we were going to do some DIY shows about cars, and well, this next year I'm going to kick it up a notch. These are the guts for a very special automotive project. These both actually came out of a BMW key fob, and I am going to be covering some of the more impossible things out there, such as adding your own key, programming your own key to your car without having to go to the dealership and charge, being paid $300 for a key and then programming it to the car. It is in fact possible. There is enough. There's a huge DIY and hacker community out there in the automotive world, and some of these newer vehicles are incredibly complex until you break down the systems, and then you find out that there are tools out there that let you do things that you don't think that you could do. And I'm going to be covering that because I'm doing it to my own car. Along with that, I've still got the Android-based, although now it's going to be Linux-based, double DIN car PC that I'm still moving forward on. And I think those two are probably my two biggest projects that I have mostly fleshed out, where I have an actual path. I've got several others that are going to probably go off into the weeds or down the rabbit hole, but that's fine. So this next year coming up for the DIY show is going to be excited. We're going to have a lot more to look at and a lot more to do.
Yeah, there's some ambitious stuff there.
It sounds ambitious, but when you actually break down the pieces, it's not as hard as it looks. I did a lot of research over the past few months, just simply because I am such a cheap bastard. I do not want to pay that much for this key. So I have a plan, and I'm documenting it. So anybody else have any last words?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say a couple that are coming to mind. These will probably weird some people out, but there may be room for shows in the year to come. But I'm already planning next year's Halloween stuff, and part of that is I've spent some time this last year learning how to, brain tan animal hides. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing some tanning of animal hides, and that'll be incorporated into some Halloween stuff that I've got in mind, some costumes that I'm actually already working on. So we may have some discussion there. And then
dude, that's not right. That's not right.
Well, the rule around my house is we live up in the woods at this point, and yes, I do kill squirrels, but I eat them. And so I can't let anything go to waste. I actually use their hides and use their brains to tan it. So, yeah, it's maybe a little bit odd.
Yeah.
But I don't waste anything.
Yeah.
Remember, when you go to the Zotti household, it says, here, try this.
But yeah, so they got some stuff there. And even though we're, here I am talking about, skinning animals and whatnot, I have an ever ongoing quest for the perfect home server setup, and so that's continues to tweak, and I'm sure it'll be vastly different next year. But I am back on FreeNAS for my primary stuff now, and I've actually gone to the dark side. Just this last weekend, I gave up XBMC, at least temporarily, and have converted the family over to Plex. So that's been interesting as well.
There you
We're
go.
Just a few days into it, but the kids and wife and kids just love it.
Yeah. I actually cut over to Plex myself 6 months ago, maybe. Awesome. They've
done a hell of a job.
Yeah. Well, how about this? Except for the Nexus player, that implementation sucks. It's awful. I have a Nexus player, and the app. So I actually went back to using the Roku because the Nexus player app is so crippled.
We're going Roku throughout the home. I actually shut down my home theater PC the day before yesterday, and I'm using its CPU cycles elsewhere now. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I still have it up, obviously, recording TV on the back end, but that's invisible. So the nice thing about Plex is either be the Roku or the tablets or where was I? Oh, right. My daughter was getting a haircut 4 days ago, right? And I had to take her. So I just plopped myself down in the chair and streamed Plex on my phone.
Yep.
And it syncs watch status everywhere. So I love Plex.
We may have a whole show on that, Tim.
It sounds like a plan because I started looking at Plex more seriously here in the past 30 days. I got tired of. Well, I used to run all of the XBMC betas, and I've been trying to run Kodi 14 now for 30 days, and it's been a fight.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of having to fight with it. Well, now I'm not tired. My wife is tired about the TV doesn't work again. Make this work. And when she's not happy, I'm not happy. So we all know where that goes.
Yep.
So
that has not happened to me once since I cut over to Plex. Not one time. There's your sales pitch.
Alrighty. Hey, John, do you have anything that that you can actually talk about moving forward into the next year? And he's
how much longer?
Oh, there he goes. Okay, you're live.
And he's gone.
Yeah, and he's gone.
Well, it's probably a good time for us to wrap this up, guys. I know that we need to get Vivek out. He's got to go kick some ass on the soccer field.
Yeah, let's hope.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you, everybody. This has been a great show. It's been a great year. I've had nothing but a blast doing this since how long have I? No, I haven't been a full year here yet, have I?
I disagree. I think you have been a full year at this point since you took over the helm.
I got to look back. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at
that. Felt like one, but it's been a lot of fun. It's some frustration, I know, with both the Tony, you and I, we get busy at times with our real lives, but we're gonna try this next year. We're gonna have more subjects, more fun, and we are going to be revisiting, such as the home servers. That's a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be covering Plex, and remember, at avnation.tv, there's plenty more shows. And Tony, are you going to continue with the was it Power over Ethernet?
The Power over Ethernet show will indeed continue. We've got a number of things on. Gosh, I can't even speak tonight. We have a number of shows that are in the works right now, up to and including some interviews with some vendors, and hopefully I can avoid pissing any of them off online but before we do the shows. But we do have some good stuff coming up and some great guests, and it's getting a lot of attention.
That's going to be great. Looking forward to see more shows. I want to thank everybody. Sorry, John, you couldn't really get in. Your internet's down, although all of us have been having issues tonight with the wonderful world of broadband in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Vivek, go out there and kick their butts. I know you're going to win. Yeah, every single time I see your stats on Fitbit, I feel bad about myself. But I'm working on that for next year. I'm going to do better. Thank you, everybody. Have a great, happy holidays, and have a great New Year.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
And
the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.